What's good, my good peoples? This is Lucky Reacts. I'm your host. You guessed it, Lucky. Appreciate you stopping by today, hanging out with me. Always a pleasure. Take your shoes off, kick your feet up. Let's have a good time. This video or this group was suggested to me one time, and I had no clue who the group was. I never heard the name before. Now, that's not weird that I haven't heard a name before, because I get bands all the time that I haven't heard that I'm not familiar with the names. But the fact that this group has never been mentioned not one time, and it was suggested one time, I thought it was interesting. So I put it on the list. And yesterday, when I was going through just YouTube music and stuff like that, there was not a documentary, but a short video called it's called How MC5 Created Punk Rock. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's the group that somebody suggested to me. Let me check this out. So I started watching the video, and it was a very interesting story about a group early on in Detroit around the beginning to mid 60s who were rocking out, right? And some would credit them with having early signs of like creating punk, right? Like I'm talking about 63, 64. That's early, right? And it was super metal though how their life was going. Like the story was kind of tragic and never really got to take off. So that's why our name is not popular. The story was tragic, and they maybe had a couple of joints that were like notable in areas, right? But they didn't really get the just due because they just couldn't get life right. And we'll talk about that a little bit after the video, but they didn't play a lot of the music, so I was like, okay, let me take the song off my list and let me see what it's about. So this is me reacting to the song by a group called MC5, Kick Out the Jams. Let's check it out.
Two, three, four. 1, 2, 3. Kick out the jams, motherfucker! Yeah! Gotta kick 'em up. Yeah, pretty good. Yes, I could get crazy. Yeah. All got to do when the dressing room, I hate it. Yeah. I know.
Okay, two things I like already. The fact that this video was originally shot in black and white and they're trying to add the color, which is bleeding in and out. But I love the nostalgic way it's looking like that. I love legendary old school things. And that's super cool to me that the colors bleed in and out of the footage. And also his afro. It's beautiful. Let's continue.
I quick and tight. Girls can't stand it when you do it right. Let me up on the stand. Let me kick out the can. Yeah, kick out the jam. Gotta kick 'em out. From the west, just on West One feeling.
The drummer going off. I know you hear it. The drummer going off. What's interesting about this is that looking at the crowd, right? You could tell it's an early form of like, what is this? Like there's people in the crowd just looking, and maybe at that time they weren't like, you got to be thinking like in the 60s. You thinking, first of all, that's Detroit. This is Motown is Motown, right? And then blues and funk has always been blues and funk. So now you got this band that's like aggressive, like fast-paced, rocking out. Like, and they probably don't even know how to categorize it in a sense. I could be off, but in 64, it's like they rocking out.
When you get the feeling, you got to suck 'em out with the kick out the giant. Yeah, kick out the jail. Gotta kick on.
Yo, the lead is fire. I don't know his name. I forgot the name. I watched the thing or the other show yesterday, but I don't know his name. But he just rocking out like he just moving with the music. He's partying. I don't care what that crowd doing, and that's a good lesson too. Because sometimes, even in your beginning stage of doing shows, whether all the rappers you see or all the rock stars you see that are super big, there was always a time when you played in front of a crowd like this, where they were trying to figure you out. They didn't know if they liked you yet. Maybe you introducing a new sound. Maybe you're opening up for a huge band and they're tired of waiting. But people have, if you perform long enough, you performed in front of a crowd like this. It don't matter what the crowd doing. You're supposed to show up at all times. So I tilt my hat to them at this time because they rocking out. My man's on the mic. He partying like the crowd is there for him. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is so cool because he just dancing, like that afro is blowing in the wind, like the drummer's getting off, the guitar, yo, that's fire. I think it's fire. Oh man, no. We gotta come back. We gotta show that again. You see my man with the reverse, like he did the reverse shake your tail feather with the guitar. Yo, I gotta find that footage of Tina Turner doing that. Let me go. Look at my man right here. My man. Look. Yo, you know what? Nah. That crowd don't get no passes. You cannot be watching a band, everybody going off. Who not going off? Like everybody showing their ass, everybody going off. You can't be sitting there unless it's trying to register or you're so mind blown that you just stuck looking at the crowd. But they rocking out just off them believing it alone or partying alone or the way they're skillfully playing this record. I'm with them because of that off top, right? And then the song is registering, but not as much as me visually looking at what's going on stage. So it's not even about not liking the song or not. The song's cool. But what I'm saying is that the way they rocking out on stage, I could not be in the crowd just staring. My body wouldn't even allow me to do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? They rocking out right now. I don't know, maybe just me. Maybe just me. Man, yo, so I would like to talk about, because when you hear about like punk, which I've been learning about, I got a couple of friends in a punk group, which I plan on having either one of them on the show soon, but I'm not gonna say who it is just yet. I'm excited. Been one of my friends for like 20 some odd years. He was lacing me with some game about punk. What happened with them is that when they came out, it was for, I guess, maybe for the area, for the region, or maybe for just people in general. The sound was a little newer, right? It was rock, but it was like fast paced, aggressive, like kind of like do what you want, take no shit, like F you, kind of like rock. So it was like the emergence of punk in a way, right? And I know there's groups like the Ramones that people give credit to, and other groups like the Stooges and stuff like that, which I keep hearing about the Ramones. I haven't heard about Stooges, but the Ramones, I see Ramones shirts all the time, or people praising the Ramones. But I got to really do a deep dive and jump into the music. But um, their story was so tragic because they wanted to go political, right? It's like at the time it was really tough in America anyway, and so you try to make songs with messages, but sometimes if you get too political, going into like a climate of trying to do corporate business, so they were trying to get a deal at the time and had a deal, but they're trying to go too corporate and too political, that can work against you. It's not like now. Well, nowadays you kind of it's I would say it's modern when you have the freedom to say almost whatever you want to say, but not really, because obviously stuff is changing here in the last couple of presidents, I'll say. But yeah, they went too political, and the label wasn't with it, and it was hard for them to gain some kind of footing because they couldn't get the marketing dollars and couldn't get pushed the right way. So they were making records, but the label was suppressing them because they wouldn't give the label the music that they wanted, that they were signed for, because they were just signed for being a dope group, but not all the political stuff. So now people aren't getting music. The label suppressing them, and that's tough. The mix of all that stuff makes for a bad concoction, right? They end up getting out of it. One label dropped them. They end up getting picked up by another label, but it just never really picked back up. There was switching of members, leaving the group, coming out the group. So it was a tragic tale. It's not an MC5 documentary video by far, but I'm trying to give you a little context of why maybe they weren't more known on a grand scale, or why they weren't bigger, because they almost got shut down before they even really kicked off. I think this might have been their biggest song. Maybe another, I'm not sure. This might have been their biggest song. And I love their performance. To watching them perform, I could even imagine going after a group like that. High energy, like everybody getting off. They very skilled in the play, and they were rocking out. It's one of them stories where I'm glad I reacted to this group, because I want to get all facets of obviously not just metal, right? Now I came in as metal, and I love metal, and what's happening is that if I dive into like the history of metal, then you got to talk about what came into metal and what came out of metal. So a lot of times you're going to see me going outside the genre because I'm reacting to something or talking about something that's coming into metal, or going out of metal, or coming from metal, and maybe being shaped to something else, right? That's how subgenres are made, right? But you got to talk about um, what came before or going into also, right? And if you're dealing with punk rock and metal, then there's a time frame thing that happens right there, right? So anyway, it's just interesting, man. I think that was super cool. MC5, the Motor City 5, straight out of Detroit, making that kind of sound coming out when Motown is what it is at the time, the beginnings of what it is at the time. Like, it's pretty cool, and yeah, I hated that story it ended the way it ended, but what's crazy is that happens to tons of groups, rappers, singers, entertainers every single day, right? Sometimes somebody starts something, it's crazy. You may know of it in the city, or maybe from that region, or maybe from that side of the world, or that side of America, but it never truly got to blow up and get big because of tragedy, life happening, life choices, all kind of things happen. So, but with you guys being on the journey with me, I do want you to go with me on all aspects of finding my way through metal, the coming into metal and what comes from metal, right? So this is the part of the journey, and sometimes we're going to go back. And today we went back to 1963, 64. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna continue searching, continue looking, and continue finding super cool, dope music to get into and really cool bands to rock out to. So I appreciate y'all for hanging out, man. Thank you as always. I love y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I know I never said, but I'm not used to being like a YouTuber. I'm used to doing this, right? So I don't know the things to say in patterns. You notice how I have a little intro video in the beginning. I don't have a key phrase thing I be doing. I don't have like, hey, this video is sponsored by. I ain't got no sponsors. So this is me trying to trying to just create something cool, and I'll worry about the other stuff later, right? Most likely when I do this video, it's not going to get monetized because somebody probably owns something. So most of my videos aren't getting monetized anyway. I'm just rocking out. If you do want to support and show love, that's why I got my Cash App thing on the screen, or sign up for a membership. I love your support that kind of way too. That way I can get out my sunroom and give me a studio and build lights and get lights and better cameras and really cool rock shirts. A new beanie. No, I'll mess with y'all, but yeah, any way you want to support, man, I appreciate that. Thank you for hanging out with me, man. I love y'all. Rock on.